This is Farouk Street. It used to be the beating heart of the old part of Mosul, Iraq's second most populated city. Even for a country which has seen many battles over the years, the destruction here is unprecedented. Months of fighting to drive so-called Islamic State out of its main stronghold in Iraq has left large parts of the city in ruins. Only 3 years ago, you could hear the noise of shops, restaurants, and busy traffic navigating through these streets. They've now been replaced by a deafening silence and a strong stench of death in the air. Still, corpses of IS fighters are lying around unburied. No one knows for sure how many civilians have been killed in the battle for Mosul. Amnesty International reports the number could be up to 10,000, more than 10 times the official estimate. And for survivors like Ahmed, the struggle hasn't ended.
هذا البلد اللي تربينا بيه نحن بلد نعتز بيه.
This is the city that I grew up in, and we are proud of it. It's a shame. Look now, nothing is left of it, especially in the west side. It's completely devastated, and there are no services here as well.
He has lost 8 members of his family here, but still hasn't been able to find and bury their bodies. This is the first time he returns to what's left of the home he bought just 5 years ago.
الدواعش قالوا لهم اطلعوا من البيت احنا عوائلنا.
IS came to my family's neighborhood and asked them to leave and replace them with their own families.
زين. قمنا نجيب نشرب ماي شاط.
The first one who died was my brother-in-law while he was trying to bring water from the river. He died from mortar shelling. Then my sister-in-law, who just got a little sick. At that time, IS were moving people from house to house, so they didn't want to have someone ill with them. So they killed her and threw her body into the river.
Ahmed doesn't know if his family has a future here.
My children have already told me that they will not come back here. Where's their school? Are there any services? Is there water, electricity?
And for the security forces that are now in charge of the city after 3 years, the biggest challenge is to build up trust with Mosul's residents. Those who survived the airstrikes remain marked as possible IS sympathizers. For some, it's impossible to return to their homes without an authorization signed by the new rulers.
This is a dilemma. These people should go through security checks to make sure that they were not with IS. There are not very well-known IS members who we can only find through the people here, as local people know their faces. So we need first to identify them before we are able to let these people go back to their houses.
Among the rubble, there are some wandering around aimlessly, scrambling to piece together their lives and anything they had.
I am grieving and I wish I was dead. All I worked for is gone. I'm 66 years old. All I had was this house and the things inside it. And when my house and all I had is gone, why should I live? I wish I was gone too.
The task to rebuild Mosul and clear the city of its rubble will take years. Driving IS fighters out of the narrow back alleys of the old city took many months. These same streets and buildings, with plenty of remaining death traps, are now proving to be the most difficult to clear for Iraq's civil defense units.
The problem is that we have to work with a very basic equipment in this area. even with just using our bare hands. And despite having engineers to clear mines above the ground, there can be unexploded rockets or mines under the rubble.
Sometimes his men witness small miracles.
Sometimes we face surprises like what we faced a few weeks ago. We were thinking that we were going to bring some bodies out of the rubble, but we found a family, alive.
In some parts of Mosul, the smell of death is pungent even after months since the battle for the city ended. The bodies of many residents are still trapped under the rubble, and there are people still looking to find out what happened to their lost loved ones. We witnessed Mosul's civil defense operation recovering Rizwan's 3 nephews' bodies. The eldest one was only 12 years old.
These are my sister's children. They were in another neighborhood in Bab al-Bayd, but IS brought them here by force. 2 days before we were bombed, I managed to talk to them. My nephew was telling me, "Uncle, I just pray that our area be liberated, so I can come to you, and so we can play PlayStation."
In western part, the new authorities are in the process of clearing all visible destruction. But the deeper underlying scars and wounds will take much longer to heal. Nafisa Kuhnavard, BBC News, Mosul.